and welcome to our very first episode of The Game Raiders.
Hello.
My name is Sergio, and I will be your host, and I'm also here with our other host.
What's up? My name's Drew.
Yeah, and basically this show that we're starting is pretty much going to be, it's a gaming podcast, obviously, and we are going to talk about just gaming news, gaming topics. You know, we really wanted to do a show at this time because we're close to the next generation. By the time the episode comes out, we'll probably be 3-4 weeks out from the next generation of gaming consoles with the Xbox Series X and the PlayStation 5.
Gotta get that PS5 pre-order on eBay, baby.
And then, we've been gaming our whole lives. I mean, I'm almost in my 30s, and then Drew's like mid-20s.
I actually came out of the womb holding a SNES controller.
Yeah, and so we thought it'd be perfect, Perfect. I mean, we've been gaming. I've been gaming more since the lockdowns that happened due to COVID.
It's pretty much work, games.
Yeah, and I mean, for a while, I would kind of just game every time a new game came out. But then now, since lockdown, I've been just playing through some older games that I've beaten already, and just wanted to kind of play through and stuff. So I guess we can just start off by kind of introducing ourselves, right? So I'll let you go first, Drew. Kind of tell the audience out there who you are and how you game.
I mean, if they don't know who I am, I don't know what they've. I don't know. I guess they've been under a rock for the last couple of years because obviously I'm a very important person. I'm Drew, and I mean, what is there to tell? The legend of Drew Racer. Yeah, just been gaming since pretty much since birth. I wasn't joking about that, honestly. First console was Super Nintendo, and kind of just got progressed from there. I went through the N64, got those robust 3D graphics on the 64, and then kind of went from the GameCube, the Wii, and then started branching out to PlayStation and Xbox, and so I've kind of been around the block with a lot of video game consoles. Like I guess I do have the more like, I don't think this is like necessarily bragging to say that I think I have a more like wide net of games that I play, I guess, amongst like between you and me. Are you
talking about like just the types of games or the consoles you play on?
Well, types of games and also just like consoles,
Maybe.
think.
I don't know. You don't know yet.
I mean, yeah, but I mean, I've noticed like over the years since we've known each other, since we've been friends, I think like I kind of dabble in like a little bit of everything. And right now I'm looking forward to Cyberpunk 2077 coming out. That's going to be huge. CDPR is not going to let me down. I know they won't. Famous last words.
Famous last words.
Last time I said that was what? No Man's Sky in 2016.
Yeah, I remember telling you, Drew, what if it sucks? And you go,
oof.
It would never happen.
It would. It's not. It's too big to fail.
It's too big to fail.
Rip. R.I.P. It's gotten better though. It's gotten a lot better.
Yeah, I mean, it only took him like 4 years to get the game we promised.
I
right?
know. But yeah, so
what was your first console?
So first console was Super Nintendo. First game was Super Mario World. Okay. So I think that's kind of a pretty, I feel like, vanilla answer, but I mean that's what it was. I mean,
Yeah.
And like, so I have a deep attachment to Nintendo as a like company, as like nostalgia. It's almost up there with Disney for me,
Yeah. Okay.
So like, cause I had the Super Nintendo. I kind of came in on the end of its life cycle, but I played that for a little bit, and then the N64 came out, and that was like, that was like huge. It was like everybody wanted a Nintendo 64, and like Super Mario 64 and all the games on that were huge. And then GameCube was a big part of my life, and then it was around the time of the Wii, I think, that I kind of started to branch out a little bit more. I had a 360, and
did you get a PlayStation 2 or 3?
I did get a PlayStation 2. First game on that was Kingdom Hearts. And anybody who knows me will tell you that that game, for some reason, has just stuck with me. I think my grandparents got it for me because I think they knew that I liked Disney. And so I was like...
Yeah, they knew you'd be a weeb.
Yeah, they knew I was going to be a huge weeb, so... my grandfather was like, gosh, don't even come back to me if you haven't watched the whole, like, if you haven't watched all of One Piece yet, like, you're disowned.
Okay, so I guess I'll go now.
Yeah.
So for me, I really don't remember my exact first console because I was, again, kind of similar to like what you said, but I was kind of like born, and I just remember my dad had a Sega Genesis. We had a Nintendo.
Oh, so we're rivals. So
we had
we are the rivals,
Entertainment NES or Super NES. I'm not sure which one.
Yeah.
Whatever one, the newer Super NES, is that the newer of the two?
The Super Nintendo I think came out slightly before Genesis.
Okay, so I know we had both of those, and
Yeah.
I would play those with my dad, like Mortal Kombat.
But they were like the same generation.
Yeah.
Though.
And then the very first, like, not new, because I was like 3 when it came out, but a couple years, I think it was like 4 or 5 when I got it. The Nintendo 64, I got that.
Yeah.
Probably a year or two after it released. And that, like, blew my mind. And I was like, every weekend, we go to Blockbuster, and I'd rent a new game. That's how I played GoldenEye.
Though.
Yeah, dude, I get GoldenEye. I got some, like, jet ski racing games.
Dude.
I bought Mario 64 and Smash Brothers and Pokemon and
Oh my God,
Star
you remember
Wars pod racing.
Do you remember the Pokemon Snap kiosks at Blockbuster where you could go and you could get your pictures downloaded? Yeah, that was
Dude, yeah, hell yeah.
Blockbuster. We miss you.
Yeah, Pokemon Snap was one of my favorite games. Mario Party, and then
There's just so many good games.
I had a Sega Dreamcast as well, and I played like Sonic Adventure and Crazy Taxi, Ride the Whip. And then since then, I got an Xbox, the original Xbox, the big brick, and I got Halo.
Yeah.
And then pretty much since then I've just been Xbox.
Yeah.
I never got a GameCube. I never get a Wii or a Wii U. And it wasn't like, I didn't want to get it. It's just at the time, we didn't have a lot of money, so my dad would just get what he could get, and we got Xbox. And then he did business with Microsoft, so we got some free games. I got Mass Effect for free. And some like boxing game, that was no big deal. But Mass Effect was pretty cool. We played that.
Yeah.
And then after Xbox, I got the 360. And pretty much all my friends in middle school, we all had 360s. So we all would play Halo all the time. LAN parties, stuff like that.
Yep.
So that's kind of the ecosystem I grew up in. And pretty much that's our same group of friends would always get Xbox. So we got Xbox One, stuff like that.
Yeah, you kind of go where like your friends are playing,
So I never really had any attachment to like any PlayStation exclusives, but I did have some attachment to like Mario. I did get a 3DS at one point, or maybe just a DS, and then I got 3DS when me and Dusty were dating. And then I got a Switch, and that came out with my wife, and then Xbox One and the Xbox One X, and that's kind of where I'm at right now, waiting for the Series X. Which I think another reason why we're doing the show is because we have different gaming opinions. Because I'm an Xbox guy all the way, and Drew's PlayStation. I say mainly.
If you really want to put me on a party line, it's PC now. By the way, PC for life. But I mean, Sony. I do think statistically, or historically, I should say, over the years has kind of. They've kind of gained ground, I think, as Xbox has kind of like lost ground.
Well, okay, so I think so what you're saying, because the PlayStation 1 and PlayStation 2 were huge. PlayStation 2 was like one of the best-selling consoles of all time.
Right.
They lost the beginning of that generation with the PS3 because it was so expensive. It was like $600.
Yeah.
And that's where the 360 also came out a year earlier.
Yeah.
So 360 was huge for Xbox, but near the end of the 360's life is when the PlayStation kind of took the lead.
Yeah.
Because it was cheaper, and then it got better games at the end, with like Last of Us and
they've just kind of kept propelling
this generation of the Xbox One is kind of called like the lost generation, because like everyone who had, if you had a 360, more than likely you didn't get an Xbox One, you got a PlayStation 4 afterwards.
Right.
So Drew, like what is your favorite gaming console or games that you've played?
Oh man,
we'll do games. We talked about consoles.
So,
let's do games.
Console I feel like would be easier to say for me than games necessarily, because I know there's two clear ones that I point to, which is the GameCube and the 360. I think that's where I like Nintendo 64. Is kind of like a close third, but I think. For me, the GameCube and the 360 is kind of where I started to really become, like, for lack of a better word, a hardcore gamer. I started like really developing as a gamer and like getting really into
What console did you say?
GameCube and 360.
So what games on the GameCube really? Resident Evil 4?
Well, I didn't have Resident Evil 4 on the GameCube, but I had Smash Melee, Super Mario Sunshine.
There you go.
I'm trying to think of Metro Prime. I mean, there's just like the library on the GameCube, even as one-dimensional as it is, because it's mostly first-party developers, is super quality. And you can go back right now and you can play GameCube games, and they look just as good. I would even dare say sometimes better than I'm not gonna say like current gen games, but like last gen, like PS3 and.
I don't know if it looks better than the PS3.
Like
you can tell me you're gonna hold up like The Last of Us and Resident Evil 4 and be like, same.
I mean,
the exact same.
Well, okay, the one that I always point to is Star Wars Rogue Squadron 2. That game looks it looks and sounds absolutely phenomenal. The production design on that game was great. Yeah. And then 360, like, again, kind of like you, where I knew like a lot of people that were playing 360 at the time, and I was like, okay, there must be something behind this, because I never owned an original Xbox. So did you
ever play the original Mass Effect?
Not until the remaster. Not until
that was
the
on PlayStation 3.
Yeah, not until the re-release. So So I got a 360, and I got I remember my first two games I think for it were Resident Evil 5 and
starting off on the right foot.
Yeah, starting off on the great foot.
Yeah.
And then Fable 2, which is actually one of my favorite games. I think I would put it up there. And then from there it kind of just like I started playing like all the Halos that were on 360, and Halo Reach to this day is also like that's another one of my favorite games.
Yeah.
It's like God, Halo Reach. I have so many good memories of playing that, like both the campaign and the multiplayer with that. So I think if I were going to put like in the if I was going to put on a pedestal, like where I became a true gamer, I would say GameCube and Xbox 360.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess for me it's probably Xbox 360.
Yeah.
I mean, because it came out in like 2000 and like
was it 2005, 2006, something like that?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I mean, I was 12. Yeah,
it lasted a long time.
I played a lot of games when I was, on the Xbox, but they were just like I played the first two Halos.
Yeah.
Like Brute Force and then Mass Effect and Knights of the Old Republic.
Yeah.
All those beauties.
I played all of those on my 360
because they're backwards compatible.
Yeah.
And then I got the 360. I think I got it close to launch, not like exactly on launch. But my original 360 red ringed.
Oh, I still have my original. So then, I'm proud to say.
So then I went a couple years without 360 again, probably until like high school. So it was at least a good two or 3 years without the 360. Then I got another one. So I had all these games, and all these games are coming out. I think I got it so that I could play like a Tomb Raider game or something. I don't remember, but
might have been Legends.
Maybe.
I think Legends came out on the 360.
Yeah, and I would say the 360 is probably my favorite console because that's the one where a lot of my favorite games were I was playing them like BioShock, Infinite. BioShock through Infinite, and then the Halo, Halo 3, Gears of War 2 or 3,
I think 1 through 3 came out on 360.
No, I think the 1 is on the original Xbox, but I could be wrong. I'm pretty sure.
I think it's on 360.
It might be 360.
Yeah, I think it's on 360.
Yeah, so it was just like that's where a lot of my favorite games came in. So I do have like a list of some of my favorite games, and most of them are probably gonna be like 360 era. Like Halo 2's Xbox, the original Xbox.
Yeah.
But like Batman Arkham City.
Yep.
I played through that like.
Yep.
Not in the night,
Arkham
but like in a weekend. Yeah. Yep. And then Doom 2016. That was the newer generation.
Yep.
Mortal Kombat. I think.
Wait, which one? Like
I just put X,
like the series. Okay.
The 10.
Okay.
The one that came out for.
Isn't 11 out now? Like,
yeah,
that's
11's
the most recent one.
Yeah, that was pretty good.
I'm so far behind.
Hellblade was one of the greatest games I ever played.
I still have not played Hellblade.
It's one of the greatest.
Yeah.
And then I am Xbox, but I'm not like completely removed from PlayStation. Like my roommate had a PlayStation 3 when I lived with lived with her, and we would play like Last of Us.
Yep.
Beyond Two Souls.
Beyond Two Souls, yeah.
Heavy Rain.
Heavy
We played
Rain.
these different PlayStation games. I never played the Uncharted games, unfortunately, but I did play Last of Us. I played that by myself all the way through, and it was one of the
man, if you think
greatest games.
If you think the Last of Us gameplay gets stale over time, man, wait until you play Uncharted. But Uncharted does have a really good story.
I don't think Last of Us gets stale. It's just kind of it's the weakest element of the game.
Yeah.
And then BioShock Infinite, I think, is one of my favorite games. I played that in a weekend, and for some reason, I like weird sci-fi, like time travel loopy things, and that definitely has that. Like Gears of War 2.
Gears of War 2.
You know, and then again, like I said, I do always Switch, so I played Mario Odyssey, and that's I think for me,
Odyssey.
I like Mario Odyssey than I do even looking back at like the N64, because I played Mario 64 as a kid, never played any of the other Mario games, and didn't play Sunshine, Galaxy, Galaxy 2, or Mario 3D World.
Yeah.
And then I played Mario Odyssey, and
that's like a huge
leap.
Yeah.
And Mario Odyssey is one of the greatest games I played too. And then I played Luigi's Mansion, the original on the GameCube, at my cousin's house. I come over and we play it like all night.
Yeah.
So yeah. So those are some of my favorite consoles and games, man.
Man, yeah. A lot of your favorite games are actually like I don't think we're actually too different on a lot of our opinions. Like a lot of your favorite games are also some of my favorite games, like that I've ever played. You know, so I don't think we're actually too different, like you say. Yeah. Because like I remember, like, you know, just Last of Us, and I was actually, since I'm going through Last of Us Part 2 right now, I've been re-looking at the first entry. I forgot how brutal that first game story is and how emotional it is. Like, that is... The first Last of Us game is always going to stand out with me, especially because it was the first game that I think I really sort of 100%ed.
Yeah.
You know, I went through...
And got all the collectibles?
I went through normal, and I got all the collectibles, and then... But I did New Game Plus, and then I did whatever the hardest difficulty, I think, like Survivor or whatever, and then I did Survivor New Game Plus. So I, played that game through four times, basically.
That's how I am with the Batman games. I played every single one of them 3 or 4 times.
Arkham Asylum, dude. I remember being so excited for Arkham City. Like when the reveal trailers were, I was glued to YouTube.
Yeah. So did you? Okay. So for me, I didn't play any of those 2 games until way after Arkham City was out.
Yeah.
And then there was just one week I was like, why have I never played the Batman game? So when I bought both of them for pretty cheap.
Yeah.
I don't know, a GameStop. And then I played through all of Arkham Asylum, and I was like, that was awesome. And I played through all of Arkham City, and I was like, that was even better.
Yeah.
And then Arkham Origins is pretty good.
I've never played Origins. I've heard it's okay.
Yeah. I like it, and I liked Night. I'm not huge. I get the hate, but I'm like, it's good. I thought it was fun.
There's problems with Night that I have. Maybe we'll do a Batman episode where we can talk about this more in detail. But there are problems with Night that I feel drag it down and prevent it from being the City killer, because City was so good, and I think there's just a lot of there's just a lot of little small things, like the story. I think in Night, despite a contrived sort of twist or what a thing, I think the story is actually one of Arkham Knight's stronger features.
Yeah.
So
I think a lot of people are kind of hung up on the Batmobile gameplay.
Yeah.
Because I get the first 2 games are we want the Batmobile, and I'm like, all right, here's the Batmobile, and they're like, that's too much Batmobile. Too much Battlefield for me.
Yeah. So but yeah, I think ultimately what we're trying to do here, I think, because we just have these conversations normally on an everyday, but I think
usually in texts,
usually over Messenger or whatever, but I think it's just kind of cool and fun to talk about it, and I think there's a lot of especially with the new generations coming out, I feel there's gonna be a lot of more discussions to be had
for sure
about a lot of the the new game. We're already kind of foaming at the mouth, I think, for the new trailers and the new games that we've already seen.
Yeah.
So I'm just excited to talk about all of them.
So I think to wrap up the show, I'm gonna I want to kind of talk about what to expect from our podcast for the time being.
Absolutely nothing, or mediocrity.
We're just
one
gonna
of the
keep
two.
expectations low so that we can meet those, and then if we pass them, you won't be disappointed.
Yeah.
So like, what I want to do is like we'll have episodes. We'll talk about new news stuff that's happening in gaming, whether like games are being delayed or coming out, or new releases or new trailers, or whatever. Talk about development health of some games, like how long games take to come out and the story behind. I think it's really fascinating.
Right.
And also just do deep dive into some of our favorite games, where we just break them down, why we love them, stuff like that.
Absolutely.
I think it's gonna be a long, fun podcast, everybody, and I hope you guys enjoy it. But for now, I think this is a good ending point for our very first kind of like our preview episode.
Yeah. I think this is a great ending
kind of
point too. I feel like it's kind of, it's a natural,
Okay, bye.
Bye.